Good morning to all. I Sunil Kumar Ojha, Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department. Here, welcome you all for this special event, mentoring session on startup life cycle. On the behalf of our institution, IIMT College of Engineering, Greater Noida, we have our guest speaker to join today. We believe respected Chief Guest Dr. Sandip Patil, respected Director Sir SS Tyagi, and HOD Mechanical Dr. Ganesh. Adorable professors, participants, we believe in this excellent opportunity to learn from you and to be inspired to think beyond. On behalf of everyone, I extend a warm welcome to you, all of you. Our institution is a pioneer in research, uh, entrepreneurship, startup, and innovation due to great leadership of our Managing Director, Dr. Mayank Agrawal, Director, and R&D cell members. We extend heartfelt greeting to all of you. We sincere welcome to all the dignitaries in this attendance. Your presence will enhance the event value. At this special moment, we would like to welcome all the attendees. We appreciate your willingness and enthusiasm to participate this event, mentoring session on startup life cycle. Thank you all of you giving me the opportunity to contribute the webinar. I am handling this session as a host. Every company progress to steer by its founder and mentors, startup eSpin Nanotech endowed with an outstanding personality in the name of Dr. Sandip Patil as a director of the company. He is an alumnus of IIT Kanpur. He is a passionate researcher at the first place who is often proclaimed as epitome of the entrepreneurship at IIT Kanpur. He holds doctorate degree in the chemical engineering under the guidance of current DST Secretary Professor Ashutosh Sharma, and he is specialized in the field of nanotechnology and adhesive. His keen interest for research is well accomplished by his strong publication track in the reputed journals. He is also co-inventor of an Indian patent on composite reusable adhesive that of US patent, which is under process. Some of his innovation work on fabrication of composite reusable adhesive as featured in scientific news in CNN, US edition, Mint, and the Wall Street Journal. He is a recipient of many distinguished awards, which stands as a testimony to his entrepreneurship and research abilities. It includes IICHE Saha Sukam Award for the Best PhD Thesis 2013, UICT Jalgaon Alumni Award for Young Entrepreneurship 2013, Rajiv Motwani Young Entrepreneurship Award by Motwani Foundation 2014, and the Indian School of Business Hyderabad Scholarship 2013. Recently, he featured as most inspiring business leader of year 2022. Business Iconic magazine. We welcome our speaker for the day, enlighten our student on the topic of startup life. Good morning, sir. Over to you.
Namaskar. Thank you so much, Professor Ojha. Thank you so much, Professor Ganesh and Professor Soni and IIMT College for the invitation. It is my pleasure to be here, and this is a wonderful morning. Can we mute the iPhone? Yeah, I think it is muted. So thanks again. I'll be sharing my presentation and we'll take it from there. Thank you again and good morning, everyone. I hope it is visible to everyone, right?
Yeah, visible. It is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so as directed by Professor Ganesh, this is basically related to the entrepreneurship and the, taking the product and manufacturing your innovation idea towards the commercial scale. So considering that aspect of this, I'll be presenting over here that is related to the create a brand and transform your dream into the reality. So the entire talk will be related to not only the innovation, it is also your approach towards the innovation. How to take the lab research, the research or the idea from the ideation to the commercial scale, from the ideation to the entrepreneurship. So it will be covered in largely, as well as I'll also share my journey uh, from where I came from and from where I'm, standing over here. So thank you again for the invitation and the opportunity. So, just a minute. Huh? Is okay. So I'm just sharing again. It is visible to everyone, right?
Yes, sir.
It is fine now. Okay, so this is related to the create a brand and transform your dream into the reality. Many of us having a dream, many of us having a vision, but ultimately, it has to be transformed from dream to the reality, and that ultimately creates the brand. It is not something that we are talking for a 1 day or 2 day workshop. It is basically years to spend to create a brand. So before we begin, the photographs which I'm showing over here, they are my basically the daughters. She's Nitya and Swara. Basically, we always being asked and asking to others, and what is that? That is related to what you want to become. And today's era, it is completely different than considered to be 10 years back. If you see 10 years back or maybe 20 years back, it is the questions being asked by our societal elements, societal people, even our house, our parents, everyone. And it was shown in the 3 Idiot movie. Before the child or kid gets birth, our parent used to say something like mera beta to doctor banega, engineer banega, or beti engineer banengi, doctor banegi. So see, now today the world is not limited to the engineer and the doctors. It is more than that. And what you want to become, and the obvious question used to be answered in particularly in those eras, like as I said, doctor, engineer, CA, IS officer, government servant, sorry, government services, whatever. But today is a different era, and today we should add the one word, and that is related to basically called entrepreneurship. Okay, so entrepreneurship is the another word, another keyword to add in our basically the question dictionary, and that is what that I want to become an entrepreneur. Again, like without education, entrepreneurship is not completed, not going to complete. So you always, I mean, like, yes, of course you have to become an engineer, doctor, anything. You should get a good degree, but there should be another step to follow, and that is related to the entrepreneurship. So one should always dream for that, and that dream is the only key of success, I must say, because it will give you the freedom to work on your ideas. It will give you the freedom to work on your vision. It will give you freedom to work, to choose your path. Okay, otherwise if you are doctor or engineer, you have to work, I mean, and there are many limitations. So the only the business and the entrepreneurship is the area where one can work on. So as I said, we'll take the journey through of mine, and this is my village. I took this photograph from the terrace of my house, and my home. Basically, you can see the left and right. The left and right is basically you have the various few homes or houses, and the population of the entire village is around 1,500 people. Out of this 1500 people, that basically 75% of the people, they are tribes, and 25% of people, they are basically we. We means like the farmer. My basically the business, first business is the farming, and the second business that I'm today doing it. So I must say proudly that first business is always of mine is the farming, and second business of mine is always this is Nano. So what ultimately that we got it, and why what we have achieved. Can we stop this person is continuously, disturbing in between? So so this is what basically we have. My family is still living in the same village, and what we have is the, as I said, 15%, 1500 is the population, 25% is our the farming community, and 75% people, they are basically tribes. And what is their daily routine? Their daily routine is the, like, earning it and spending in the evening. And at the same time, what we have is this is my younger brother, who is standing with me in the cotton farm, and we are doing our cotton agriculture, I mean, like the cultivation, whatever is. And nowadays we have the sugar cane, but still I do enjoy my farming business always, and that is what is my root is. So coming from here, that this is a very, as I said, when I was studying, there was no school, so I have been sent to my mama's house to do the, my schooling. And I started my schooling second standard onward. Even I never went in the first standard. So this is how is the scenario. And of course, there was no money, that much money, or maybe, my father was working in the other person's farms, and my mother was she was used to go to the other farms. So I was the only person to be stayed at the home. So they have decided that send me to my mama's home, where I can do the schooling. And as of course, when I I got admission in second, I have been sent to the my mama's house to do my schooling. So Dr. Ganesh, can we stop this thing? I really don't like it. I mean, I really don't know who is the person who doesn't understand what is going on.
Sir, Oja sir, can you please remove all the other people?
Yeah, I really don't understand. If they are not interested, why are you
can
keeping over there?
request them to mute?
Okay.
Who is that guy? I mean, I really don't understand. He doesn't understand the ethics of this.
Sir, I have removed all the students. Okay. Yes, sir. You can continue.
Sorry, sir. Thank you. Please continue.
Yeah, we should do it for immediately. I mean, if they are not interested, why we are keeping them here? So yes, of course. So started from here, I lose my entire flow now. So starting from here, so background really matters. Okay, so when I started from here, that what do you want to become? What you want to become, and then I explained my story that I started my schooling in second standard and onwards. In fact, there was no school, and I used to go to other village to do my schooling. So my mom and dad decided to send him to my mama's home, where I can do the good schooling, and I did it. I mean, like, that is what. So I have spent my 10 years out of my home, and I did my first second standard to 10th standard schooling outside of my hometown. And of course, as I said, the population is like 1500. I have grown up in this particular village. I have done my entire schooling and started from there. So what background really matters whenever we think of in anything? कुछ भी होता है, जैसे हम सोचते हैं कि बैकग्राउंड, अगर मैं किसान का बेटा हूँ तो क्या मैं कर पाऊंगा, बिजनेस कर पाऊंगा, या कुछ भी डिफरेंट कर पाऊंगा, या मैं गरीब घर से हूँ, मैं कर सकता हूँ कि नहीं कर सकता हूँ. These are the questions that are being always asked by the people, or maybe the student. And there are many examples in our, you can see in the world, and few of them we can see them in India itself. So background really matters. If this is the case, many of us will take a step backward and will say, okay, अगर मैं मेरे पास कोई ज्यादा backing नहीं है तो मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाऊंगा. But this is not the truth. This is not going, I mean, this is not going to be a complete answer to your question that background really matters. So see this example. And Dr. Abdul Kalam was, born in the family was, very poor family. You can say anyone can, have seen it. I mean, everybody who are attending this presentation today have gone through it, his biography and everything. Okay, so what he says always, success is when your signature changes to an autograph. This is what the entire discussion that we are going to do today, and that is what I said in my title, create a brand. Okay, so he used to say success is when your signature changes to an autograph. So I started from that point of the imagination and the discussion. I started this company when I was doing my PhD. So it was 2010. So ultimately, it is not that I started immediately or maybe after completion of my PhD. So ultimately, I started this thing when I was doing a PhD. I got admission in 2006 at IIT Kanpur under Professor Ashutosh Sharma, and started working on the nanofiber technology. This was the subject which was very novel, and it was, having multiple application in the engineering field. So started with the research related to the nanofiber nanomembrane technology. There was a time, you can consider 2008, Professor Sharma was having a meeting with all the students, and he gave a problem. And the problem is related to, he wanted to build some machines which can spin the nanofibers. So nanofibers basically can be used for various applications, but he gave the task to all of us that who is going to build the machine. So we all the PhD student, MTech student was sitting over there, and I said, sir, I will build the machine. I will take another 6 months to build the machine, and that is how we started. So I took 6 months to build the machine called nanofiber spinning machine. What was the vision? Vision was to use that machine for my own research. But I have seen that after making this machine and building the machine in 6 months of time, it was working fantastically good. I could able to see machine have been, working good. Not me, but many of us, many PhD student, MTech student, they started working on it, and we could able to see the good outcome in terms of research publication. So it was a time 2010 that I went to Professor Sharma and was just I told him that I want to start my company, and just hold on. I want to start my company, and yeah, thank you, sir. So I started this thing in 2010, and I just asked Professor Sharma that I want to start my company. And considering, I have studied everything related to this technology and everything, I could able to see the potential which is available in the market. So I went and met him and was asked, I just put up the question that I want to start the company, but not immediately. I want to start this company after my PhD. And he answered and replied to my question, why you want to start after your PhD? Start it immediately. And that was shocking. Why it is that? Because it is very hard to get this kind of answer from your professor, because ultimately you have to complete your this thing like PhD first and start your company. So I said, I will start after my PhD. So he said, you start it immediately. No need to wait for the, to complete your PhD. And I started immediately. Though I was not having money in that during those times. Even that time there was no Startup India and Stand Up India movement. Only whatever you are going to do, you have to start yourself. It is ultimately, even registration of company today is very easy. You don't have to go anywhere else, any department. you can do online everything. But that time the scenario was completely different. You have to visit each and every department. You have to hire the consultant, agent. Okay, you have to spend more than 50,000 rupees to just to do a registration of the company. But though I took a challenge and I initiated that procedure and got this done in 2010. But it is not only me that invested money. I took this money from my professor, my advisor, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, and money from friends, and could able to initiate this. And that was like, took me around 2 months to do it. And after that, I started this, I initiated all the manufacturing, third-party manufacturing and everything, could able to get the orders. It is not only from India, but also from Europe, US, Middle East. All these countries could able to support us. And you can say earlier we used to buy the machines from the Western countries, but that was the time I could able to sell the machines from India to the Western countries. That was fantastic experience. Even though today we are the top leader, to supply the machines for the many institutions and the R&D organizations. And it is not only that we are selling the machines, we are also supporting in terms of scientific knowledge sharing, research, domain, everything, whatever we can think of, supporting them in a different way. It is like we wanted to build the scientific company, not it is just an instrument company, but it was just a starting. But considering that we always wanted to build the small machine to the large scale manufacturing of nanofibers, membranes of nanofibers for the various applications, considering the revenue model for selling the small machine, get the money, invest into the large scale innovations and do it. That is how we started. And from there, 2010 to 11, we could able to, as I said, ISO company, and then we have initiated many more models of Super ES1. Then we could able to make 2D 20 national and international projects. We have completed it. We could able to collaborate with the partner, then Russian partner, then US partner. And it was a time when 17 and 18, our company being highlighted 5 top nanofiber technology, nanotechnology company in India. And we got many awards in between. Of course, like journey is like little tough, but I have enjoyed it. And it is not that only that I have enjoyed it, but also along with me, my wife and me started this in 2010. Later on, Dr. Sunil Dhole is also IIT alumni, IIT Kanpur alumni. He joined us, and he came from Europe. Then he started his one of the company called Techno Orbital Advanced Material in India, and then Mr. Nitin Charate, he's also joined us in this particularly venture. He also came from the Europe, living is all the even green card and whatever you can think of, and he joined this company. And we are working on largely to develop the sustainable, eco-friendly, energy efficient technology using nanofibers for the air filtration applications. Out of those, we could able to manage largely the product size for the in the COVID time. So what is the nanotechnology? One can today like also we should connect the technological point of view of this aspect, and where you can see this picture where nanofiber and the human hair is. So nanofiber are basically deposited on top of the substrate. On top of that, you have the human hair which is sitting on top of it. So you can see the change in difference between the scale, where one human hair is covering most of the area of that picture. But ultimately, you can see the nanofibers are, there are billions of nanofibers are basically deposited on that particular area. So this is the beauty of the changing the scale. Larger scale will have larger lower surface area, and the smaller scale will have a very large surface area. And considering those properties of the material, one can use them in various applications, and those applications will talk one by one how it will be effective and how we have used them in a different areas. So fiber diameter, that is what we are doing it today, 100 nanometer and less than that we are making them. The moment you create the smaller in size, the high surface area will have it, then low density, large surface area to mass, high pore volume, and because of that, it will have a large range of applications. So this is the technology that we have developed during my PhD, and this I must say, this is not the first time that we have developed this technology. It is a very old technique which was invented 100 years back. considering the potential use of this technology in today's scenario, and also making the process advancement in the design of the instrumentation, that was our technical skill that we have applied. What happens over here, you can have this is the first generation machine that we started manufacturing and selling to everywhere world. Now we have the more than this, I mean, like you can say maybe fourth generation machine that we are selling today. So this was the first generation machine. I still used to show this machine because when you start something, the beautification, then the packaging aspect was not that much good, though we could able to achieve whatever we wanted to be. So considering this, you can understand the process very easily, how one can create a nanofiber by using high voltage electrospinning. This electrospinning is basically a process where one can create a nanofiber with a large scale. So what you have here, it is basically a nanofiber, the solution of polymer solution, basically in the reservoir. Reservoir is connected with the metallic needle. The reservoir will push a solution slowly by means of syringe pump, and this will have around 3 microliter, 4 microliter per minute, and it will deposit it. This will act as a positive electrode, and you apply the high voltage. High voltage can be range of from 5 kilovolt to 50 kilovolt. So you can say 500 volt to 50,000 volt. This is what is the scale. So ultimately, the moment you apply the high voltage, this polymer will get charged, and other side you have the negative electrode. This negative electrode will get attracted this by the positive charge. During this process, this polymer will also get stressed out, and it will create a very tiny threads. It will look like this. Those tiny threads will be deposited on this collector. At the same time, it will evaporate. I mean, during this time, the solvent will get evaporate, and ultimately you will get the nanofiber deposited on the surface. And this is basically, you can see the physical aspect of the nature of the process, where this is a Taylor cone, and then Taylor cone is going to burst, and ultimately you have the smaller size nanofibers. And then you have this, these are the forces we are basically governing, and because of that you could able to get the very small fiber deposition, just because of there are forces of the major forces, basically electric force, and there are other forces like gravity, viscosity, surface tension. These are the parameters which are basically acting during this process. This is just an overview of the technology, how it is built from the smaller scale to the larger scale that we have built these machines. What are the applications one can think of? There are many. Like, it is basically started from environment, electronics, energy, defense, health, automotive, building, consumers. You can think of anything where you can apply this technique, but mostly today we are using this material into the air filtration technology, water filtration technology, and biomedical. So what we have done during the COVID time and before that, okay, so though we started this manufacturing in 2010, we have created some membranes for antiviral and antibacterial applications, but we never thought of this only antibacterial and antiviral will work. Then we have created some membranes which can deactivate the virus and the bacteria. So this is basically a nanofiber membrane decorated with the nanoparticles, and these nanoparticles are basically a governing material to kill the bacteria and the virus. Okay, this nanoparticles being added while doing electrospinning itself, and those are decorated. So what we'll have there, virus anchored with the nanofiber mesh, so it will kill immediately. It has a long lasting static charge, which is mostly and highly important when you have the filtration, efficient filtration with the lower pressure drop. If you want to achieve the lower pressure drop, the physical separation has to be avoided largely. So one has to include the static charge in those particularly. Then easy to incorporate nanoparticles for the antiviral and antibacterial. This process is very, unique. Why it is unique? Because you can add the nanoparticles easily during the process. Otherwise, in the other processes is very difficult. It is reusable and washable, and it has the capability to deactivate virus and the bacteria. So we have created this mask. I must say, this is not created during the COVID time. It was created, the mask was created during 2017 and 18. considering the aspect of virus and the bacteria. There is always a time in the 1 year life cycle. And what is that? You must have heard about कि क्या होता है. हम हमेशा बोलते हैं वायरल इन्फेक्शन हो गया. वायरल इन्फेक्शन हो जाता है. ऐसे कैसे हो जाता है? वायरल इन्फेक्शन मीन्स you got infected with a virus. So ultimately we should think more than that. Okay, so क्या है कि कोविड में हमने वायरस का नाम सुना और एंटीवायरल का नाम सुना, लेकिन उससे पहले भी तो वायरस था. So considering that, we have created this antiviral antibacterial fabric, or you can say membrane, for the mask application, and it was launched in 2017. And of course, people, they are not aware about it. Largely they don't want it to use mask, and always it was being used mostly in the metro cities. So ultimately we have created this mask for the antiviral application, but along with that there are many applications, there are many challenges in healthcare sector. जैसे आप कोई बाहर जा रहे हो तो आपके पार्टिकल्स अंदर जा रहे हैं. आजकल तो सूट पार्टिकल नैनोमीटर साइज के होते हैं. So those soot particle, दो नैनोमीटर साइज के होते हैं, they are going entering into your respiratory systems and creating the secondary infection in your lungs. So one has to also avoid those smaller particle which is in the nanometer size, because ultimately your nose will stop the very coarse particle, but the nose will not stop the very fine particle. So you should have some kind of filtration techniques to put on your mouth. So considering all the aspects, we have created this mask in 2017 using the nanofiber technology, and we could able to build a very nice mask with a lower pressure drop. So this was the mask was launched in what we call as N99, and it was completely based on the technique that we have invented, a nanofiber filter, and being used in the mask, and it was tested by Nelson Laboratory. So this was I must say on this platform that it was the first mask was tested for the virus and the bacteria. Even 3M was not having. None of the company, at least in India and the abroad, they were not claiming anything related to virus and the bacteria. We were the first one, and we could able to test this mask at the Nelson Laboratory, and we could able to get 99% filtration efficiency of the virus and the bacteria. Of course, we went more than that, and we are in a process to get many certification right now. And this is what basically, then considering the Indian scenario and the demand, we again created N95 mask for the PM 2.5. Again, this was having filtration of bacteria and all those stuffs. Virus and the bacteria, we could able to make it. And I must say that when there was a lot of demand, earlier we used to only manufacture 5,000 to 10,000 masks per day before the COVID, and the demand has been increased a lot. And not only in the UP, but not only in India, but abroad, people, they started asking over the SWASA mask. And we decided to put the manufacturing at IIT Kanpur. IIT Kanpur was so helpful for us during this pandemic time. Our director and Professor Bandopadhyay, even our IIC IIT Kanpur, helped us to set up a factory in the campus itself. From 5,000, we could able to reach to 30,000 masks per day. And we have served many people. You can say more than 10 million people today we have served in worldwide. So this is what basically we could able to achieve. Similarly, the same filter we have used for the ventilator exhaust, where this ventilator exhaust, they are coming up with the HEPA filters, and I must say they are not very effective, and they are not basically deactivating the virus and the bacteria. Let's say if the person is got infection of the virus, so when he exhaling, it is basically what is happening is exhaling, and the secondary infection happens in the room. So what we need to have, must have the good filtration, good efficient filter with the deactivation technology, and that is what we created, the retrofit filter, which can fit into this ventilator exhaust, where it can avoid the secondary infection which is going to happen in the room. So basically, it is very easy to create, very easy to manufacture, and it doesn't have that much complications, where it can fit it with the existing ventilators. So this is the one of the replacement that we have done during the COVID. Another that we have used the similar filter for the positive suction pumps, where it can fit it with very well with the positive suction. This positive pressure pump is basically you are wearing the PPE kit and inside you have to create a positive pressure. So let's say the filter is not efficient, it is getting virus from the outside and it is pushing to inside again. So it is no use of it. So ultimately we need to have the efficient filter to be attached over here. That's the filter that we have created, and it is attached with the suction pumps, and it will give you the completely fresh air inside to go inside the PPE kit. So that is what basically the ultimate idea. Again, during this COVID time, people, I mean, like the frontliner workers in the hospitals as well as the doctor, they have to wear this kit, PPE kit, coveralls and gowns for a longer time. And this PPE kit basically having a very thin layer of plastic, and this doesn't have the breathability. So it will give you some kind of feeling that it is suffocating or something else. So ultimately, the doctor and the nurses, they cannot wear it for a longer time. And during that time, they have to wear it for 24 hours, in fact. So ultimately, what we have done, we have created another smart coating of nanofibers of the similar material, where it will only allow air to go, but at the same time, it will filter out the virus and the bacteria and also deactivate it. So this will help the doctors and the basically nurses or maybe the frontline workers to wear it for a longer time. This has been a media highlighted in many newspapers. I am showing you very few, but during the last few years, we have been highlighted more than 200 news. And this was this thing. As I said, you can see here is 2017. We have basically launched the nanofiber mask. It was 23rd July 2017, and we've been highlighted in Silicon India for our innovations also. So this is what basically we have created. So as I said, we could able to grow not only in India, but reached many countries. You can see the clientele list. So what is the motivation behind this? Okay. So everyone has the motivation to do something. So what is our motivation? What is the eSpin motivation? And ultimately, our motivation was to give back to the society. Okay. The life that I have seen, the life that I have gone through, it is still the people of there. I mean, like, they are far away from the innovations, far away from the technological products. So idea is to make the society better by inventing new thing, and that invention can get connected with the human life, and our society should get the good benefit out of it. And it will only happen, people like you, people like me, when they will start the innovations for the life. So innovations for the life can be anything. How, see, in the COVID time, this pandemic time, we have been experienced hygienic issues, we have been experienced the health issues, we have been experienced anything. And I must say, we have lost one of our near and dearest one during this COVID time. In fact, myself also, I lost my mom. So what can be done? And during this time, I have not shown one invention over here. We have built the oxygen concentrator in the span of only 2 months. Along with my team, Professor Dr. Sunil Dhole and Tushar Wagh, we have built this concentrator within 2 months of time. And we have installed within the 6 months and 8 months, more than 6,000 concentrator in India. So this is the zeal we must have. Why it was required? Because there was a scarcity of oxygen. Demand of oxygen so high, no one can supply that demand. So considering that demand, we took the challenge to reinvent the wheel. Why we reinvent the wheel? Because there was a lot of concentrator which are available in the market, but ultimately the cost was so high. The people there, it is not affordable to the poor people. So we have decided to make something good out of it and give to the required people. And that is how we have built it. So giving back to the society. And today, see, today's our Indian youth, they are 28% of Indian population. They are basically youth. They are doing well in their chosen field, but at the same time, they should also give back to the society. And that should be the vision. Entrepreneurship is the best way to contribute to the society in terms of economics and individual development. Entrepreneurship depends on the interest and the passion. Our youth is talented and passionate. They just to recognize their skills and they make the best of it. I started with something, and what was my starting slide? I was just showing my two daughters, and what was that? You have to add the entrepreneurship in your questions that you want to become an entrepreneur. And this is what basically we need is what we need, we should recognize our skill. It's, I mean, like, understanding your strength, recognize your strength, your skill will definitely lead you something bigger than you think of. So what we see today in India, we see, I mean, like, earlier, like we used to call a Bharat and then Hindustan and India. But you do remember that there is, like, considering all the transformation of our Bharat to India, one thing is always a common. And that is, what is that? Basically, there are so many problems. So that is what, as I said, one thing is always you see in India, that is so many problems. So in my opinion, if there are so many problems, so I see only the opportunities. And many people, they only see the problems. अरे ये प्रॉब्लम है, ट्रैफिक प्रॉब्लम है ये, लेकिन अगर आप उसको दूसरे साइड से देखो, अगर प्रॉब्लम्स है तो वो अपॉर्चुनिटीज है. See, giving solution is easy, but finding problem is very difficult. So what is important? Important is to find the problem. Once you find the right problem, you will definitely walk on that path, because it will lead you towards the certain objects, towards the certain visions, because everybody has the problem, but nobody wants to solve the problem. So idea is, in the entrepreneurship is all about to solve the problem. Okay. But more than that, entrepreneurship is all about to identify the problem. Once you identify the problem, you become an entrepreneur. So, okay. So problems, you can, I mean, alone you will not solve the problems. There will be a team to solve the problem. There will be money to solve the problem. There will be government to solve the problem. There will be investor to solve the problem. But ultimately the goal is to see and find the problem, what it is. So in my opinion, I see a lot of opportunities in India, because traffic is the problem, air pollution is the problem, water pollution is the problem. Okay. AI is the problem. Anything, you take anything, that is a problem. And if there are many problems, that means there are many solutions. What is needed to work on those problems, to solve this, so to solve them, to be an entrepreneur, to be an, whatever, think of. So you are the perfect sandwich of this. Many of you are the engineers, many of you are the researchers, many of you are the doctorates and the professors. What we have is one thing is common, that is curiosity, creativity, and the imagination, with the exceptional skills to innovate new products. Because everything I must say, the Indian people, the Indian innovators, the Indian entrepreneurs, they are more than anyone else in India, in the world. Why? They have multitasking capability. Apart from that, one thing is common, that is a जुगाड़. वो जुगाड़ से कुछ भी कर लेते हैं. लेकिन एक चीज पे हम हमेशा फेल होते हैं, the packaging, aesthetic of the product. We never achieve what the Western countries are achieving. If we can able to do it in India, we will be much more than anyone else in India and anyone else in world. So just focus that, considering all this, just think of it. So as I said, you are the perfect sandwich, and sandwich doesn't come with only one ingredient. It comes with all the ingredients. So most of the time, we have been taught, and we always have preconceived notions. And what those preconceived notions, I will explain you. But Mary Brown says preconceived notions are the locks on the door to the wisdom. And this is completely true, because we always decide something we never thought of. Like our actions, before we do any actions, we always design something, we always decide something. So what are those preconceived notions? And I must say those are basically fixed targets. getting job in good MNC companies, to be a professor or researcher in any institution or the government labs, getting postdoctoral position after completion of the PhD. Basically, in institutional level, researcher level, R&D level, these are the basically our preconceived notions. They always wanted to be to work for someone. They never wanted to be work for self. So this has to be changed, and those preconceived notions should not be always with you. So we have been always taught what is that, and that is basically think out of the box. But in my opinion, understand there is no box. Okay, if you think out of the box, that means you are again creating one more boundary against that. But if you think that there is no box, your thinking is limitless. You can think whatever you can. You can imagination will be infinite. So this is what basically. So see, whatever being told us, think out of the box. Just think that there is no box. So you can think limitless. This is a very good example. And what is this? Basically, you can see all the 7 manicures. One manicure is basically opposite to you. And read this line. What the line says, we pay to kill cockroaches and the spiders. In Thailand, they pay to eat cockroaches and the spiders. So what will be the innovative element here? What will be the problem? What will be the business problem here? So business problem is, in India, we have been seeing many spiders, many cockroaches. What is the innovation? Create some trap to get these cockroaches to trap and the spider and make the pickle out of it and sell these pickles to Thailand. Okay, so this is the business problem. We can create the innovative trap to catch cockroaches and spider. We can make the pickle and sell this pickle to Thailand and earn this money in dollars. So this is what basically thinking differently. One has to think in that way. Think big, think different, be confident. This is must. So very importantly, many of us, like, we are doing very good research. We are having good ideas. We have everything, whatever we can think of. But what is happening? That good idea, those good ideas, those good research not getting transferred from the industry level, from the lab level to the industry level. And that is called the value of death. Of course, there is a bridge, but this bridge is broken in between. So what is needed? Requirement is to have this bridge to be completed, transfer the ideas, transfer the knowledge toward the industry commercial level, so our society can get benefited out of it. So this is a very small video for you. Just enjoy it, and then we'll have, I think. So at the end of this presentation, we'll have this like a small quote: future is a mystery, both good and bad can happen. One should not be intimidated by fear of failures. Think of innovative ideas and take the plunge. What does it mean? It is basically, जब भी हम कुछ भी चीज़ करने से पहले बहुत बार सोचते हैं और ये फ्यूचर के बारे में सोचते हैं, अगर हम केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग में एडमिशन लेंगे तो हम केमिकल इंजीनियर बन के बहुत बड़े साइंटिस्ट बनेंगे या कुछ भी बनेंगे. I mean, whatever you think of, we always think in the futuristic. If we can see the future largely quote to quote, I mean, one can be the prime minister of India, but that doesn't happen. What is required is to walk on what you think of. You don't predict the future can be anything. When I started my schooling, I never thought that I will be the businessman or maybe the entrepreneur in my future. I never thought of it. I just wanted to become a researcher. I got the degree, but at the same time, I connected my research to the entrepreneurship. So ultimately, you can see, like you can just think of it, but you cannot predict the future. So you just start working on your ideas, your vision, your like whatever you think of, your dream. You can achieve those goals rather than just thinking of future. Ultimately, future cannot be predicted. So उठो जागो और तब तक रुको नहीं जब तक लक्ष्य प्राप्त ना हो जाए. ये लाइन बहुत ही सटीक बैठती है हमारे जीवन में आज की डेट में. और तब भी कि कोई भी अगर काम करना है, उठो जागो और तब तक रुको नहीं जब तक लक्ष्य की प्राप्त ना हो जाए. And this was the time when our mass was won by our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji during Ayodhya Puja. And in the Indian history, I mean, like the top notch, like the Prime Minister is not allowed to show any kind of brand, anything else in the publicly. But in Startup India movement and in the Indian scenario for the Indian industries, for the Indian startups, this was the first time in history. He openly wear our mask was during the Ayodhya Puja and endorsing himself Indian made product, made in India product. And that is the big bloom for us ourselves also, and all the Indian startups, that our Prime Minister itself is making the advertisement. What else we need it? And thank you so much for this talk. Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Ganesh and Professor Oja.
Thank you very much for this talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Patil. You have given a wonderful presentation. This will definitely motivate to our students and viewers. And those our country is going to in this phase that that is very much needed, entrepreneurship, startups. And now it is coming into existence. Many companies are day by day forming. They are doing this. So this type of session, this type of motivation, people will definitely encourage students and public. And you started from your backgrounds to your journey, how you spin Nanotech came into existence, and technological aspects of your company, your products, and many other motivational thoughts, how you have to motivate to do that, not from the from researcher to as a businessman. And very wonderful quote you have mentioned that seeing the problem as an opportunity is a very much important, because if you have to find the right problem, and a solution will provide from this, definitely solution will come from the society in many ways, many alternatives, but finding the right problem and working on that is a very important thing. So thank you very much, Dr. Patil, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Oja. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inspiring our students and how you started your journey from. I know you from last 10 years, but it's really an opportunity for my students and some of the faculty members here in IIMT. And you started. I mean, I was also not knowing I was knowing that you belong to the Dhule district, and then that, but I have not seen your where you live and like where you have started, like. So from the village level to you have grown up to the IIT Kanpur, and then now be a successful entrepreneurs, and now the Prime Minister of India is wearing your product which you have developed. This is really a proud to us, and keep inspiring the students. Thank you for our invitation, and thank you for giving such a nice talk, sir. Thank you, sir. We
Thanks
would
a
like
lot.
to be connected with you further. So thank you once again for accepting our invitation. Thank you.
Thanks a
Thank
lot. Thank you, Dr. Ganesh and Dr. Oja. And thank you, IIMT. IIMT. Yes. Okay, then. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, sir.
Yeah, I hope there is no questions from anyone else, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.